expecting someone else? Hello and welcome to Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. And in today's episode, I am going to be looking at the 4K UHD home media release of No Time to Die, the fifth and final installment in the Daniel Craig James Bond 007 film series. Now, late last year, before the release of this film at the cinema, I did review all of the Daniel Craig home media releases up until that point. And this release has been out for about a month or so at the point of doing this. So I am slightly late to the party here, but I've done my research and have my opinions. So here we go. So to start with some release information. This has had a worldwide release on physical media, on 4K UHD, Blu-ray and DVD. Now there are many variants out there, mainly around type of packaging, cover art and bundled collectibles. But essentially the discs themselves, in terms of picture, audio and special features, are essentially the same wherever you get them, with just some minor differences in supported languages and subtitles. Now the UK version that I have is the standard 4K UHD 2-disc edition in a regular Amaray keep case with the film on both 4K UHD and Blu-ray, and includes a slip cover. Now I have to be honest, this photographic artwork is not actually my favourite. I would have preferred if they'd made up some more sort of old school cinematic poster, but this tends to be the one that they're using for most of the keep case releases. There are SteelBooks out there with slightly different artwork variants. Here in the UK there is a Zavvi exclusive SteelBook, as well as an HMV first edition collector's set. Now they're both very hard to get hold of. The HMV first edition has actually been discontinued, so you're only likely to get this on eBay if you're willing to pay a premium for it. The first edition includes this 4K and Blu-ray release in individual packaging, along with a collectible keyring and a booklet with an excerpt from the No Time to Die making of the movie book released by Titan. There are also Target and Best Buy special editions in the US, which again feature different cover art, and it's fair to point out that some regions also include a digital download code for the film in 4K, and some even include a DVD copy as well. Now this year marks the 60th anniversary of the James Bond film franchise, and bearing in mind that there have been special releases for the 25th, 40th and 50th anniversaries, as well as packaging refreshes every couple of years, I would not be surprised if in the latter half of this year all 25 of the James Bond films get re-released in a special box set in 4K with all of the previous special features and no doubt some bonus discs. It feels inevitable to me that this is going to happen at some point, but we'll have a look at how this release shapes up. So first of all, onto the picture quality. No Time to Die was shot on film, with some sequences being shot on 65mm and IMAX, all of which produced a 4K digital intermediate, which these disc transfers have been taken from. Now the Blu-ray 1080p transfer is very good. It looks great on this Blu-ray high def edition, and the film is presented in its 2:35:1 aspect ratio. Now even though there are IMAX scenes on some of the action sequences in this film, there is not a shifting aspect ratio on these discs. But the 4K UHD really shines here, because this is a full Dolby Vision high dynamic range transfer and looks absolutely incredible. There are some stunning locations and visuals in this film, both exteriors and interiors, during the day and at night time. and the 4K UHD captures everything here beautifully. I would say that this is actually a reference quality disc, because compared to some of the previous 4K releases, they've really knocked it out of the park with this one, working from the excellent source materials that they had. So I'm very happy with this transfer. Onto the audio, and whether you're watching this on Blu-ray or 4K UHD, there is a full-on Dolby Atmos track with this. Again, something that the other 4K Bond releases were lacking. Now, the separation on this Dolby Atmos track is fantastic. There's lots of low-end bass during the action sequences, lots of separation where bullets are flying and cars exploding, etc. Supported by a well-balanced soundtrack and crystal clear dialogue. So once again, I feel they really have embraced and stepped up with this new release. Now onto the special features, and this is where things get a little bit trickier, because although what is here is interesting, there isn't a lot, to be fair. What is also interesting with this release is in many 4K UHD releases, the special features tend to be on the accompanying Blu-ray disc. Or the 4K and the Blu-ray discs mirror each other with exactly the same content. In the case of this release, all of the special features are on the 4K UHD disc, and if you opt for the Blu-ray only version, what you get is a second Blu-ray disc that includes the bonus content. Now, this does seem somewhat of a waste, bearing in mind that the bonus content on the Blu-ray version comes to only just over 30 minutes total. But to be fair, they have put a Dolby Atmos audio track on the Blu-ray feature, which obviously takes up a lot more of the disc capacity. But it is interesting the way they've elected to do it here. So first up, you get an 11-minute featurette called Anatomy of a Scene. And this focuses very much on the pre-credit sequence, Action in Matera, featuring the Aston Martin DB5. Now it's great because you see a lot of behind-the-scenes footage with the stunt team, combined with lots of interviews with the actors and crew, with a real focus on how most of what they do in this film is done practically. You get to see some of the preparation for the various stunt work within that sequence, and it's really quite fascinating to watch. The problem being it's over too soon. Then you get a 6-minute featurette called Keeping It Real, the Action of No Time to Die. And this expands further on what I've already mentioned, the stunt work and the practical effects and sets that were used for other portions of the film, such as the Highlands of Scotland doubling for Norway. Again, good stuff here while it lasts. Then you get a 7-minute featurette called A Global Journey, which looks at the long-time Bond tradition of using locations from all over the world, including Jamaica. And this we get to hear from the locations department, as well as the creatives and production design team that look at placing James Bond into this world. And then you get an 11-minute featurette called Designing Bond. And this looks at the various costumes used for all of the key characters in this story, and features interviews with most of the cast members. And that is it as far as the special features for the Blu-ray release go. On the 4K, you do get one extra bonus feature, which was the excellent 45-minute documentary Being James Bond, which was available on many streaming platforms at the end of last year. This really is a good watch because it deals with everything from Barbara Broccoli first approaching Daniel Craig for the role and his resistance to that, the initial screen test that he did, the media backlash when he was originally cast in the role, his preparation for the part, the commercial and critical success of Casino Royale, the development of the character through the movies, right the way down to his emotional speech at the wrap of this movie. Even though this has been quite widely available on streaming, it is nice that it's been included on this physical media release. I don't quite understand why they've put it as a 4K UHD exclusive, because there would have definitely been space to have fitted this on the Blu-ray bonus disc for the Blu-ray set. But that's a marketing choice, I guess. So to conclude on this, it's a bit of a tricky one really, because as I said, it's inevitable that a more feature-rich version of this film is going to be re-released at some point. Whether it's to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the franchise later this year, or as a one-off release sometime in the future. So I guess you need to decide whether or not you want to make that investment yet. But in terms of the scoring for this, for the picture, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. The 4K UHD of this really is a reference quality disc that massively benefits from Dolby Vision. It looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, it would have been nice if they'd also put a version on with shifting aspect ratios for the IMAX scenes, but even 4K UHD discs have limitations as to how much data they can hold. I really can't fault anything about the image quality for this release. Onto the audio, I'm also going to give this a 5 out of 5. This Dolby Atmos track that you get on both the 4K and the Blu-ray has excellent depth and separation, and is a big step up from the 5.1 or 7.1 audio tracks that were on the previous Daniel Craig releases. So top marks for this. When it comes to the special features though, I only gave Spectre a 1.5 out of 5 because it had less than 30 minutes on. I'm going to give this a 1.75 out of 5, and that's only because the 4K UHD includes the Being James Bond documentary. But I feel that there is a lot more that could be included here. Deleted scenes, commentaries, music videos, and more in-depth documentaries about this being Daniel Craig's final film. I feel that is definitely on a future release. So that brings this total score to 11.75 out of a possible 15. Excellent picture and audio quality, let down by a lack of special features, even though what special features there are still interesting. And I hope you found this interesting. If you did, then please do consider giving us a like, hitting the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And if you hit the bell icon, you will get informed as and when new content is released, as well as full-on physical media reviews like this, where I look at picture, audio and special features and comparisons to other releases. I also do product unboxings, live streams and podcasts. What I'll do is at the end of this video, I'll put a playlist to my other James Bond physical media reviews, and I'll also put some links down below to podcasts and video streams where I discuss different elements of James Bond with various guests, including James Bond Radio. If you've got any questions or comments, please put that down below as well, and I'll see if I can help. And I also have links down below as to where you can buy this and some of the other Bond releases. If you use these links, it does help the channel to get recognised at no additional cost to you. But for now, I thank you for your time, and I will see you at the next Home Media Minefield. And remember, you have all the time in the world.